What's up, friends? Just kidding. I don't wear a mask when I drive by myself in my car. It's been a long time since I've recorded a video or written a blog post, and this afternoon a good friend of mine asked me a question and wanted my advice, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to get back on the horse and record something that hopefully will help other people out there, since the question they asked is pretty common. Here's the gist of the question. Hey, there's this member at the gym that everybody loves. The members, the other coaches, the owners, this person gets their level 1 certification, so they're able to become a CrossFit coach. This person now coaches at the gym. Everyone still loves this person. However, as an athlete, this human is making some choices in their own training that might not be the smartest, both from a safety perspective or from an influence perspective, because I think most of us can agree, if you coach at a gym, the things you do will be seen by members. And if you are adored by members, people will likely want to do some of the things that you do. I'm going to try and change the examples that were given to me, but hopefully the point will make sense as to what this athlete is doing and why my friend was worried. So there's a CrossFit workout named Karen, which is 150 wall balls for time. Men use a 20-pound wall ball, women use a 14-pound wall ball. This athlete is doing the equivalent of something like, maybe they can't squat to full depth, and a 14-pound wall ball for ladies, for example, is too heavy for them. So they would do half squats with a 6-pound wall ball, and then do double Karen. So increasing the volume, reducing the weight while still not getting full range of motion. To me, most of the time, those three things don't really go together and shouldn't go together. Another example of something would be if there was a workout, just a random gym workout with box jumps in it. Let's say this athlete doesn't have the skill or the power yet to do full height box jumps. So on a random Wednesday, they would throw on a weight vest and try box jumps to a 5-inch plate. Again, there's nothing wrong with that here and there if the goal is just to change the stimulus. But the point is, the intent behind these decisions is to make workouts much more challenging without having the requisite strength or skill to do the movements properly without the added challenge. I personally don't typically think that's a good idea. So the question is, how do I approach that with this friend and coworker? My advice is three-pronged, right? The first one is, I think it's important to know your relationship with that person in the first place. If I was just a coworker of theirs, another coach, and I didn't have a great relationship with this person, or if I thought that offering my advice might make them feel uncomfortable, I probably would step back and I would refer that to option 2 to the owner and explain my concern and why I think it's not only bad for that person, for the actual coach, but also for the influence they're having on other members. And then the third option is obviously to just have a nice heart-to-heart, sit-down conversation with that athlete, with that coach. What I've done in the past is, thankfully, when this has happened, I'm typically a more seasoned athlete, meaning I've been doing CrossFit for longer. Not a better athlete, just someone who's been doing it for longer. And I did have a good relationship with those athletes that I've had to address. My thing is explaining to them that range of motion and technique are the most important thing, because as you improve your ability levels, you will be able to get stronger or faster by moving well. If range of motion isn't there and the athlete is potentially overloading themselves with too much weight or too advanced a movement, then the likelihood of injury goes through the roof. Another thing I would ask them why they feel the need to do that. It is very common that athletes think the more they do, the heavier they do, the better their results will be, instead of really breaking it down to basics. I've had very experienced athletes work to potentially down to an empty barbell or a weight that is significantly lighter than the prescribed weight in workouts, and by working on their basics and reestablishing their fundamentals, they ended up getting far stronger than they were before and were injured less frequently. So it's trying to explain that everyone has logic in their brain as to why they do certain things, and I don't ever fault someone for wanting to get better. I don't ever fault someone for thinking that going heavier means that they're baseline level of athleticism is going up. But unfortunately, that's not usually the case. Establishing that baseline of proper performance and proper mechanics is typically what's going to end up leading to that improvement over time. It's consistency, right? Form first, then consistency, then intensity. That's one of the main foundations of the CrossFit program. And when you can explain that to someone and get their buy-in to give it that time and to be a little bit more patient, typically that will lead towards those breakthroughs. But unfortunately, this sport of ours is very much a marathon and very much not a sprint. So people who are too gung-ho tend to have a higher incident of injuries. And as a leader in your gym, as a coach in the gym where you are, the worst thing you can do is have someone that regularly leads by example in a way that would likely lead to other people in your gym getting harmed. So take it as a friend. If you can have that conversation one-on-one, absolutely do it. If that's not an option, address it with the coach. And then the worst case scenario, because I don't like talking about employees when they're not present, right? If you see other athletes at the gym taking after them and doing things they shouldn't be doing with improper range of motion or way too much intensity or doubling or tripling volume just for the sake of volume, I would have that conversation directly with the member that is being influenced by this coach. Just a little nugget for me. Do you agree? Have you run into this before? I'm curious. What do you think of my approach? Hope you're all doing well. Talk to you soon.